What's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and today we are taking a look at the Carolina Hurricanes. We've gotten a little bit of a sneak peek in terms of some contract extension updates on Tony Deangelo as well as Marty Necas. There's been potential of an offer sheet this offseason, which I think the Hurricanes would like to avoid, but we're going to discuss all of that today. So let's start off with Tony Deangelo. Tony Deangelo early in this season was in the conversation for the Norris Trophy. He was really solid this season in Carolina. He's dealt with a lot of adversity over the last year and a half, especially the way he left New York. So this was an opportunity for him to really kind of get on his game and figure things out. And he was able to do that in Carolina. He has the skill. He just has to be in the right environment, with the right fit, with the right coach. And Tony Deangelo, he's a good hockey player. And, as much as there's the behavior side of things, there is something there. So this is from Frank Saravelli. He says the Hurricanes likely won't be able to afford to keep Tony Deangelo this offseason. Again, the Hurricanes are probably going to lose a lot of their star players this season. A lot of you have been leaving your predictions of who's going to stay and who's out. They just don't have the cap space, right? That's what happens when you lock up Svechnikov, when you lock up Aho, when you lock up Slavin, you're running out of cap space, and that's kind of the situation they're in right now. So that's the latest on Tony Deangelo. It's not necessarily looking too great in that regard, but from Elliot Friedman, he says Martin Necas is an RFA. And word is the ask was a little too rich for how the Canes saw things. And we'll get to that in a second. We'll see where things go, but it's not like for Carolina to sell low on their players. So this has always been an argument for the Carolina Hurricanes. The Hurricanes are known as a team that this isn't the right way I want to put it, but they're known for cheaping out on their players. They set the benchmark for what they're willing to pay a guy, and it's usually fairly low, and that's it. And a lot of that comes back to the ownership, and that's Tom Dundon. A lot of that is ownership that's kind of like, listen, this is the benchmark for what you could spend on this guy. Do not go over that. And that's why they've had to let go of a lot of guys over the last couple of seasons. You look at a guy like Peter Mrazek, right? I mean, it ended up working out. Look how things have not gone so well for him in Toronto. Peter Mrazek. I look at another example, Alex Nedeljkovic. I think it's Nedeljkovic. So he's in there. Those are guys that people said, well, why are you letting those guys go? You won't pay them the money. Carolina is very, again, I don't want to say, there's not a better way to put it, but frugal. They like having short, smaller contracts, and they only paid the big boys what they are, right? So we see perfect examples. Svechnikov's contract, $7.75 million per year. Aho's contract, $8.46 million per season. That's got 2 more years left on that. And it's one of those things, right? And we did see a couple years ago, Montreal tried offer sheeting Sebastian Aho, right? So, when I look at Carolina, they're known to be one of those teams that is a little more careful with their spending. And that's why I do think a lot of these guys are going to go to free agency. And, when you look at the guys in the wings, you have younger players that can come in and kind of help you out, right? If you lose guys like Niederreiter, Stepan, Trocheck, Domi, you have to rely more on the young guys like Marty Necas, like Steven Lorentz, like Seth Jarvis. And those guys are coming in on their entry-level contracts. They're much cheaper. And yes, I'm excluding Martin Necas, but let's be honest, he's going to make a lot less than Nino Niederreiter is on his next contract, right? So that's kind of what you're looking at with Carolina. And the bigger thing with the Hurricanes right now, you look at their cap space, they have $19 million in cap space, which is great. But again, you consider the fact that you need to re-sign some of these guys. You have to re-sign Tony Deangelo, Ethan Bear, Ian Cole, Brendan Smith, Vincent Trocheck, Derek Stepan, Nino Niederreiter, Max Domi, Martin Necas, and Steven Lorentz. that very quickly disappears. And when you consider it's $19 million, and you could argue probably three of those guys could make $5 million each on their own at least, there you go. You quickly have the problem that the Hurricanes are facing. And then the other thing is, too, you consider, they're not worried about the draft, but they do not have a first or a third round pick this year. They do have Chicago's third this year, but they don't have a ton of cap space, and they don't have the draft picks to kind of get themselves out from under, say, a bad contract. I'm looking at you, Brady Shea. I'm looking at you. Now I know the Hurricanes fans like Brady Shea, but I mean that is a sinker contract, and the fact the Rangers got themselves out of that one, that's going to be tough to move. And he's also got a modified no trade clause. You have Brett Pesce making $4 million for this year and next. You can move that contract, but is it really worth it, right? So, and then forward wise, I mean, they just locked up Kotkaniemi to $4.82 million per year for the next while. So I don't know. I think it's kind of just a weird way of looking at it. But the Hurricanes have kind of put themselves in a position here where it's going to be tough for them to get out from under where they are. Now, again, if they already are under the mindset that, Domi's probably not coming back, Stepan, Trocheck, and Niederreiter, those are the three other ones that I'm kind of interested. It's got to be at least one of them. One of those guys is probably staying. I just don't know which one. And again, on the blue line, you have Ethan Bear and Tony Deangelo. And it sounds like for Ethan Bear, they're already they're letting Ethan Bear go out there and see if he could find a contract for somebody so they could do a sign-in trade at this point. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below of the Carolina Hurricanes situation. What do you think we could see for Martin Necas' next contract? Because he's a very talented player. He's still very young, coming off of his entry-level contract. I think he was AHL Player of the Year. He was a huge part of that successful run in the American Hockey League for the Charlotte Checkers. They won a Calder Cup. They went to the finals. They were really good. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.